How's everybody doing? Or good day wherever you are in the world. I know I got friends all over the world in this adventure. Today we're going to do a Redline restoration. I haven't touched on those for a while, and I miss them, and I really still, these are my heart and my soul, and this is what I want to do today. So we're going to take this 1969 custom AMX from USA version, which because it has clear windows, it's still got the hood. It's crusty. This is another one of the generous gifts from my buddy Anthony Bellini from Michigan, and I'm slowly working my way through all his great gifts. And I promised him I'd get this one out, and I want to do this one because this one's just super sexy. And it's a basic restoration, but hey, this channel loves them. It's not about growing over here. It's about having a good time and talking with your friends and shooting the shit along the way. So let's take this thing apart. Maybe I'll do this step by step so everybody can see it. So stay tuned. Let me get my tools out. Alrighty, here we are with all the tools of destruction for our custom AMX. I'm excited about this one. So, got my little drill bit here that I got from the Redline shop. I got 2 self-tapping micro screws from the Redline shop. No, I don't get sponsored by him. I buy all my stuff there though, but he sells good stuff, so that's what I use, and I use these guys for decals. Vince is the man. Got my little Allen wrench here. I got my punch, and I got a custom pry bar here, as you can see from Craftsman. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to punch the centers of these. I'm making sure that I get the center of these things just right. There's one. Been a little while, but since our Lincoln Continental, I've been itching to do another one. I just had all these build-offs with the over-the-top customs. It feels good to do a basic restoration of a Redline. I love these things. Okay, now we're going to just, what I do is I just drill very slowly down until I get to the right depth that I'm comfortable with. There we go. That should be good for that one. And then we'll do the same with this one. That one should be good. Now, I switch up to the next size up. You can buy these as a 2-pack. They don't have it there. It must be in bulk because I don't have the sizes. I'm not much into numbers. I can't ever remember numbers. I just get what it is and do it. That's the way I've always been. I can't retain that knowledge. So now we're just going to drill enough to knock the head off of that. I think that was it. Try this one. Okay, now we got that done. We take our persuader here. Pop goes the weasel. And we'll do that with this one here too. If I can get it in there, I think I may have to drill just a little bit more. There we are. I'm always a little bit more careful with these because these are very special to me, because they were the forbidden fruit of the collectibles when I first started collecting Hot Wheels. And they still kind of are, even in junk form. So, and there we have it. There's that much. And it's got a nice paint job on here. It was purple originally, and the glass has no cracks, but it's got a little bit of it's scratched up. I might try to work it out. We'll try to clean it and buff it. Haven't done that in a while. If not, we'll call John. And the interior's nice. It's got a little bit of paint on it. We still have one hinge attached, which is fine. Once I soak this thing and get it all cleaned up, we will see where we're at. And while we're here, I always do this first and foremost. So I always cut these things, because this is a USA version. See these babies? Once you get them out, you ain't getting them back in. I mean, you can, but it's like surgery, and I don't feel like screwing them up. So I never ever pull them off. Wheels are cheap enough, you can replace them, and they look better new. Okay, one to go. Okay, I'm murdering this tire. I usually get them off with one clip. There we are. Alrighty, now let's clean these babies off with some paint stripper and come back, and I'll drill and tap these while we're going, because we've all seen that a million times. But it's got a little bit of a bend right there in the pillar, which is not a big deal, but you gotta be careful with these old Redlines, because you may have something crack on you because they're so fragile. God, they look so sexy when they're painted. So stay tuned. Okay, here we are with our custom AMX basic restoration. And I had to, as you can see right here, let me get my pointer right there, I had to fix the hood latch, and that was all I had to do to it. And she's looking pretty good. What I'm going to do next is, I did a little bit of wet sanding on it. I'm going to drop her in the zinc plater and give it a nice zinc bath so the hood and the rest of the car match, and use triple aught steel wool in between. Probably do a couple sessions of 10 minutes each. So stay tuned. Okay, and we're back with our 69 AMX, and after about four baths, 30-minute baths in the zinc plater with wet sanding between the first two, and polishing and buffing and wet sanding, or polishing with steel wool and everything I can do to make this thing, try to get all the pits out of it. There was a lot of little pits in it. I've got the majority of them out, and yes, you can make these things smooth as a sheet of glass with getting the pits out of them with the zinc plater. There's still a few, but once you get the paint on, you won't notice them. And like I say, I'm from the camp where you sand and buff and steel wool it till it looks sexy, because prep is 90% with these bad boys. So we are going to shoot this in blue this time. Excuse me, still got that cough, because we are going to be making one of the most sought after AMXs or Hot Wheels. We're going to make a replica of the Edge Shaver Pro Stock car that he drove in 1971 that was one of the first cars to be sponsored, along with the Snake and the Mongoose, by Hot Wheels, by Mattel, and he raced it in Great Britain. And he was an American Air Force soldier. When he got out, he was big into drag racing, and he did a lot. He had a funny car, and he had this Pro Stock, and he was sponsored by Hot Wheels. So let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned up and throw some paint on it. Stay tuned. Okay, here we are at the paint booth. Got my Redline Shop Blue mixed up with 75. I do 75% color, 25% clear, and then about 10 to 15 drops of hardener. And I got it all mixed up and we're ready to go ahead and shoot. Okay, and we're back with our pieces for our custom AMX. As you can see, if we can get this thing to focus, there we go. I had to wet sand this with a couple different fine grits of sandpaper, then use my metal polish to buff this bad boy out. Well, it did have a fair amount of deep scratches in it, I guess from when they scraped the paint off that AMX originally as a child, and but I got it real good. Now we're just gonna dip it in mopping glow just like everybody else does, and I haven't done this in a while. Just wick the it has a little bubble in it. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times because you want to make sure that you get all the air bubbles out. And then you just wick it off, wicky like that, and then once you feel confident that you have it good, yeah, put a cover over it and let her dry. So while that's drying, I'll pour this back in here in a minute. In my mopping glow, we're going to work on one of the most important steps of when you're building or restoring a Hot Wheels is you need one of these. This is your Redline Shop tool, and it's extremely important. And this car's been sitting here for a week or more because I couldn't find my original one that I've had for years that I actually notched out the back so I could pop wheels off, but unfortunately I couldn't find it amongst this mess. But as you can see, with all torsion spring cars, the wheels are facing downwards. You can have the nicest basic restoration, and if you don't straighten the wheels, you ain't got nothing. Because you want to make sure, I always make sure that I get them just right as much as I possibly can. And you just stick it back there and give them, you just have to tinker with it until you get it where you want it. And just work your way around until you get the axles where you're happy with them before you stick the wheels on. This one seems like it's a little bit thicker than my original. Might have to modify it. It doesn't want to go behind the wheels the way I want. which is not good. Not digging that at all. I've had that tool for 2 years and I lost the damn thing. Okay. I don't know whether it's these axles just really close, why it's giving me a fit, but these tools should definitely make it easier to straighten these axles if you can get in on these things. And these, like I say, these are USA's, and you screw them up, you're done. Let's try this. That's a little better. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to modify this thing because it's just a hair thick. I don't know whether it's a different vendor or what, but I'm not digging it. Or a different supplier. Alrighty. Okay. We have these axles pretty straight. And these are ready to be reassembled. Any other minor tweaking I'll just do on the car with the wheels. So that's all I have for that. Stay tuned for this. We'll get all the parts together. Okay, here we are back with all our bits and pieces to our custom AMX from the famous Redline series. And like I say, we got our paint all nice and perfect on it. No toning, no dark spots whatsoever. And we went with the special rare Ed Shaver AMX, who raced over across the pond in the England area. Him and the Snake and the Mongoose were the first ones to be sponsored by Mattel Hot Wheels to have race cars in the quarter mile. And to me, that's just the coolest stuff in the world. So, and we got our window all perfect from dunking it in the Mop and Glow. The interior needed absolutely nothing. It was perfect. So she looks good. And you saw me straighten all the axles. And while you were gone, I modified my tool. I narrowed this sucker with my metal file. Now, here's where the purists will definitely let me know about, well, those aren't stick-on stickers. Those are water slide decals. And yes, they are. And they are. So if you like these water slide decals like I do, right there, Second Vents at Second Chance Redlines on eBay. Anything you want, he will make it, and he makes great stuff. And this is the other part where they're going to crucify me is, this probably, being it's a USA, it had a different style wheel on it, like the ones I took off, and they were all this size, but not deep dish. I like my deep dish Hong Kong, whatever you want to call them, with the shiny chrome. My favorite color is chrome. Pink. They wrote says pink and chrome won't get you home, but it will get you laid. I can tell you that much. But anyways, enough about that garbage. Since this is a drag car and this is going in my personal collection, it is appropriate to have big drag tires on the back. So we are using deep dish all the way around, which the ones I love, and we're using the stock size on the front and the big drag tires on the back, just as it should have been from the factory. To me, that it will look better than new. The original Ed Shaver stickers was not. They were just put in there and they were just stuck on, and you had to stick them on yourself, and you know, kind of like the old Ertl stickers that didn't last. These were actually Tampos on Mr. T's van. I was surprised. I guess they changed them later on. Us children of the 70s and 80s, we just didn't have a lot of detail, and they didn't put a lot of emphasis into our toys for lasting. So, okay. Check these wheels out. I don't want anything looking funky. So they got some play in them. So, man, that looks good. Okay, let's see. Try to just tweak this one just a little bit. Sometimes it's easier. Now when it sets level, yeah. Like I say, if you don't get these wheels just right, you can do the greatest job on the car and it'll just look stupid. It'll just sit funny. Okay, I think that's going to have to do. I'll double check it when I put it on the stand. Our nice clean window. Our beautiful unmolested interior. Okay, now I'm going to put this baby back together and it's going to look awesome. I don't have to worry about handling it. This thing's been painted for a month. Make sure all that's correct. Alrighty. There's one. There's two. Look at that. Would you just look at that? That is an absolute, positively thing of beauty. With a bit wheel. There we go. Let's see. Once it's level in there, so. That axle's. I'll have to do a little bit of tweak in there. There we go. Tell me that doesn't look perfect. Just like the real one. So, well, let's put this thing on the turntable. Thank you, Vince. Excellent decals. Stay tuned. Okay, here we are with the reveal of our Redline's basic restoration of custom AMX, done up as the Ed Shaver drag racing AMX from back in the day that was sponsored by Hot Wheels. And if you like these decals, you can go right to secondchanceredlines.com. His name is Vince. He's awesome. He will have everything that you need. If he doesn't have it, he can make it for you. So check him out for all your decal needs for water slides for your cars. Doesn't have to be Hot Wheels. It can be Matchbox. It can be Corgi. It can even be a Kidco. Doesn't really matter. If you want it, he'll make it. So without further ado, here we go. Mr. Ed Shaver, who was a drag racer, super stock drag racer back in the early 70s with a 69 AMX or 70, one or the other. Don't know quite offhand, but Anthony Bellini, there you go, buddy. There's your AMX. I told you I was going to do it justice, and she looks better than when it was new, as far as I'm concerned. It's got for the Ed Shaver car, it's got the correct biggies and smalls on it, the way it should be from Hot Wheels. And it's got a nice set of water slides on here instead of stick-on decals, which I absolutely cannot stand. I know it's not original, and the purists will be like, he didn't do that, he didn't use the correct wheels. I don't care. This is my adventure. These are my toys. They go right on my showcase, and they look sexy just the way they are. So I hope you've enjoyed this weekend. I plan on doing a lot more Redlines, but with customs it makes it hard to try to do these, especially with the zinc plating. But we will throw them in more often, and I'd like to get back to doing some shoulda bit of Redlines. I have a lot in the waiting for that. So enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you on the next build. See ya! it.